You know when you're watching an animated movie and you're trying to place a character's voice for like half of the thing, and then all of a sudden you're like, holy that's Kelsey Grammer playing a stork. That's awesome.
From the old movies of 30 years ago and beyond,
to the world of the new films of the last 30 years.
to the movies that are now playing, this is Old, New, and Now Playing. And now, here's your host, Will Robinson Smith.
Hello and welcome to Old, New, and Now Playing, your time machine through the world of movies. I'm of course your host, Will Robinson Smith, and thank you so much for joining me today. Now, it's been kind of a mixed bag this year as far as animated movies have gone. We've had some really great ones on the one hand, and then some that just weren't worth paying money to go see in the theater on the other. So, which category will Storks fall in? Well, grab your flight manuals and pack some extra diapers. We'll talk about it in your feature presentation. So Storks is the latest animated film from Warner Brothers and stars Andy Samberg, Katie Crown, and the aforementioned Kelsey Grammer, among others. The movie is co-directed by Nicholas Stoller and Doug Sweetland. This is the first feature that Sweetland has taken on, but he directed the 2008 Oscar-nominated Pixar short Presto, which played in front of WALL-E. He actually spent a good bit of time in the animated world. He joined the Pixar family in 1994 as an animator, working on Pixar's earliest films, Toy Story, A Bug's Life, Toy Story 2, Monsters, Inc., Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, and Cars. As for Nicholas Stoller, he also wrote Storks as well as co-directing it. As a writer, he's had some hits, as well as some not so great ones. That said, he has directed two of my favorite modern comedies in Forgetting Sarah Marshall and the 2014 movie Neighbors. So with these guys working together, one can only hope that we might get some comedy gold here. So Storks takes place in a world where all the world's storks live on Stork Mountain and used to deliver babies for virtually all of recorded history. That is until they realized that life would be much simpler and more profitable if they delivered packages instead. Hence, the creation of the Amazon-like cornerstore.com. The movie picks up about 18 years after that when a hotshot stork named Junior, voiced by Andy Samberg, is about to be promoted to boss. However, he and Tulip, the only human on Stork Mountain, accidentally activate the baby-making machine and a new baby pops out. They have to deliver her before the company finds out so that things can get back to normal. Let me go ahead and address a question you might have right off the top. So, we have a film in which storks have been delivering babies for all of eternity, great. But then we have this period of 18 years where storks aren't delivering babies, but we see kids who have to have been born during that gap period, so I guess we just go back, we as humanity in this movie just goes back to humans creating babies again, you know, despite the fact that there was a baby making machine for all these years. Yeah, I don't know. The film really doesn't answer that question or really address that topic, and if you really want to enjoy the movie, just go ahead, ignore that, because otherwise it's going to drive you just crazy. So anyway, when I went to watch this movie, I didn't look up who was voicing some of the characters, and on the one hand, you might enjoy the movie more if you're not thinking about the voice talent behind the characters, but for me, I found some of the clips funnier when I went and watched them again after knowing about the voice talent. If you really don't want to know anything about the voice talent, just go ahead and skip to this time marker down here. Go ahead, I'll give you a few seconds. 3, 2, who won? Still here? Awesome. As far as my favorite voices to hear in the movie, Kelsey Grammer as Hunter has to be right near the top. He's no stranger to voicing villains, with, of course, his best-known vocal work as Sideshow Bob on The Simpsons.
You awful man, stay away from my son.
Oh, I'll stay away from your son, all right. Stay away forever. No! Wait a minute. That's no good. Oh.
Here he plays the head stork Hunter, who's pretty much the typical corporate sleaze. The role itself isn't anything fantastic or groundbreaking, but it's fun to hear him as the character. But the ones that really take the cake for me are Keegan-Michael and Jordan Peele as the lead wolves of the wolf pack. The running gags they have with these characters are one of the best parts of the movie, and it almost feels like they would have come up with a concept on Key and Peele if they had decided to do an animated sketch. But of all the characters in this movie, the one that I thought was by far the most annoying was a character called Pigeon Toady. The design of this character is like a stoner jock sort of type, and honestly, it was like nails on a chalkboard for me. He's the foil for Junior and Tulip in the movie and is trying to undermine their mission to deliver this baby, but honestly, there was nothing endearing or redeemable about this bird, and every scene just dragged the movie down for me whenever he was on screen. And while we're talking about negatives, if you happen to skip ahead to this point, we're talking about negatives now, just FYI. And since we're on the subject, let's talk about the opening of this movie. I get the movie has to establish the world and let the audience know what's going on, but honestly, this was one of the most blunt expositions that I've seen in a movie in quite some time. Also, the jokes throughout were kind of hit and miss for me. They definitely nailed many moments, like the stuff with the wolf pack, and I thought the comedic timing between Junior and Tulip mostly worked really well. On the other hand, it felt like the movie was doing a bit too much hand-holding and definitely came across as more of a kids movie rather than a kid-friendly movie. So I give Storks a 6 out of 10. It's definitely not a bad movie, but it's right on the cusp and is pretty forgettable. I'd say it's worth, a matinee screening at best. So those are my thoughts on Storks. Once you've had a chance to see the movie, I want to hear all about what you thought of the film, and what's one of your favorite bird-themed movies? Go ahead and sound off all your comments and thoughts in the comment section below, and that will do it for this episode of Old, New, and Now Playing. If you like this review, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, that would be great. And if you want to stay in touch with everything we've got going on with this channel, just go ahead and click that old subscribe button on down below. That will do it. Guys, thank you so much for watching as always, and I will see you next time.